You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Sal Panelo. Secretary, good to see you again. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. My pleasure always.
First and foremost, Malacanang's reaction on the non-duty status of General Oscar Albayalde, sir, relinquishing his post.
I haven't talked with the president, but I guess I cannot read the mind of General Albayalde, but I can only speculate that perhaps he has had enough of the innuendos, the accusations according to him which are false and unfair. The family is suffering from it. So he decided to have an earlier turnover as...
But imagine that, Secretary, first the retirement was supposed to be November 8, and then nagkaroon po ng usapan that the turnover would be October 29 because the President will not be around during the first week of November. He's going to Bangkok, Thailand. So sana November 29 na. Tapos ngayon, na-move pa ngayong araw na ito.
And the promise, parang narinig ko kanina na yung family niya yata nag-ano na sa kanya, nakiusap. Tama rin naman yan. Kung masyado ka ng bugbog at kawawa naman yung pamilya mo.
Bugbog ba siya, sir, dun sa Senate
the way
hearings?
he sounds, the way... Sa tingin ko.
When you look into what happened during the hearings, sir, and you have someone like General Magalong and even, I think, General Lacadin implicating somehow, somewhere, General Oscar Albayalde into this Ninja Cops controversy. What are your thoughts on that? Tama ho ba yun, or did he get a fair chance at the Senate?
If you're asking me as a lawyer, not as a spokesman, I'll tell you my thoughts as a lawyer.
Let me ask you first as a lawyer, and then I'll
ask... As a lawyer, ang nakita ko kasi ng mga salita ni Mayor Magalong, with due respect to him, puro hearsay Sabi ni ganito, alam ko ganyan. Wala yun Si General Lacadin naman, okay sana, kaya lang sinabi niya, hindi ko alam kung nagbibiro, hindi. Sira na yung testimonya mo. Kailangan doon, sinabi mo, sabi ko sa akin, seryoso, na ganyan, ganito. Dapat ganon. O kaya, I do not blame General Albayalde na complaining, ba't ganon?
So, as a spokesperson, ano naman ho ang inyong sagot doon?
Tatanungin natin si Presidente because I only echo the thoughts of the President.
Were you surprised by this?
Hindi, i-expect ko na yan kasi nga parang kawawa naman kako to. Eventually, the family will persuade him to relinquish his post.
Do you feel, Secretary, that somehow his credibility or integrity was affected by the Ninja Cops controversy, sir?
Depende. Alam mo kasi, ang Pilipino madaling maniwala sa mga insinuation, innuendos. Pero sa mga nag-iisip, kagaya ko, lalo pa kung ang training mo as lawyer, hindi siya masisira sa akin.
So, ibig sabihin...
Kasi like for instance, yung sinasabi ng mawalang galang na rin sa mga senador natin, General Albayalde has to prove himself innocent. Excuse me, anong nangyari sa constitutional presumption of innocence? Kayo mag-prove na may mali siya. Kaya nga precisely the President said, give me a clear proof that he has profited from the drugs, that he is linked to this and that.
That's my point, sir. That's what the President said. And then General Albayalde last week said, nagsalita na po ang Presidente, let's move on. And then this happens. What changed?
Kasi nga, ganun pa rin ang linya ng mga senador, di ba? Lalo siyang binanatan. Di ba? Mag-resign ka na, ganito, ganyan. Napuno na siguro yung mama.
But if you have the trust and confidence, sir, of the President, you would stay, right?
You have to think also of your family. Kung nabubugbog na yung pamilya mo, tapos yung baka binubuli pa yung mga anak niya, alam mo naman sa Pilipinas
Can you tell us frankly though if meron pa siyang trust and confidence ni Pangulo?
Sabi ko nga always for as long as the President says nothing about it, the presumption, the reasonable presumption is he has to trust. Sabi nga ni Presidente nung tinanong siya, Sir, may trust and confidence po kayo kay General Albayalde? Ano sagot niya sa arrival? Nandiyan pa siya.
Yeah.
Ano ba ibig sabihin nun?
Yeah. Pero hindi ho ba, lahat naman kayo, anybody appointed by the President would always say, you're there at the pleasure of the President at aalis lamang kayo kapag sinabi ng Pangulo umalis
wala naman
kayo?
sinasabi ang Presidente, ba't naman naalis?
Exactly, sir. So bakit siya umalis?
Gaya lang ang sinabi ko, yung pressure sa pamilya. Alam mo, if you were in his position, baka maintindihan mo rin siya.
I actually had him on the show, sir, and even after the show, mahaba-haba po yung aming usapan at nagkwento ho siya. But of course, there are things I can't say on air that he said off air. So,
Kasi subsequent to that, yung mga headline, yung mga senador, binabanatan pa rin siya eh. Tapos guilty as hell siya eh. Kaya siguro, bumigay na yung mama.
Senator Gordon was saying that, his retirement would not parang affect any possible
Tama
administrative
naman siya
or
doon.
criminal
I
liability.
agree with him as a lawyer. Siyempre, natural lang yun. Kung ang findings mo may transgression, may violation, pwede kang i-demanda.
Sabi ata ni...
Administrative or criminal.
Yeah, I think Mayor Magalong was saying today, kay Ria, sir, pwedeng malfeasance, misfeasance, yun yung mga possible na mga...
Depende sa findings. Pero ang pinagtataka ko lang...
Anong
alam mo,
pinagtataka niyo, sir?
Pinapakinggan ko si General Bayalde, kung totoo yung mga sinasabi niyo, ba't di niyo ako dinimanda? Bakit cleared ako? Ilang investigate?
And he kept repeating that, sir, over and over again.
Tama naman siya doon. Yun din ang tinatao nga naman. Bakit di niyo dinimanda noon pa yan? Bakit after 2013 ngayon lang kayo nagsasalita?
6 years later, sir.
May punto di vista yung mama na
So,
tama.
when I listen to you, sir, it's as if you're believing in the presumption of innocence
Oh, definitely.
of General Albayalde.
All of us, all people accused of any crime or transgression or violation of the law should have the benefit of the presumption of innocence. Hindi po pwede yan.
Yan naman
Otherwise,
yung talagang
bakit pa tayo
tinutuloy.
mag-konstitusyon? Hindi naman natin susundin.
So, how would you describe the Senate hearing then?
Sabi nga nila, we're investigating in aid of legislation. O di, sige. Kami naman, we're all for it, for the investigation. Pero sana, wag magsalita muna kung hindi pa tapos. Kasi pag nagbibigay ka ng mga conclusion mo dyan na ongoing, may problema ka. Kakaroon ka, parang bias ka. Di ba?
So hindi ho kayo in agreement with some of the senators saying, giving out statements after the hearing because it forms public
Kung ako
opinion?
senador, I will not be making a comment, siguro.
Really?
Kasi nga, abogado ako eh. It will affect even my own integrity as a lawyer.
Secretary, when...
But I do not also blame them. Talagang ganyan na buhay sa Pilipinas.
Paglabas din kasi ng senador, nandun yung media at tatanungin sila ng ano. Sir, when he was here, when General Albayalde was here, sabi po niya, two things Sabi niya, pamilya niya, tsaka sana daw kung ano yung napag-usapan doon sa executive session na lumabas. So, other than that, he said also that any endorsement by the PNP chief, Oscar Albayalde, would be a kiss of death dahil sa nangyaring controversy dito sa Ninja Cups. To your
Ano ba? Kasi kung ikaw ang presidente, di ba? Kung ako ang appointing power, tapos napaniwala ako dun sa mga sinasabi dyan, o edi, kung sino in-endorse mo, ayaw ko rin. Di ba? Natural lang yan.
So, parang kiss
That's
of
logic.
death niya. Do you think politics played a role here, sir?
Hindi ko alam. Yan ang sabi ni General Albayalde at yan din ang obserbasyon ng maraming tao.
What's your observation?
Ako basta dapat hindi ka nagbibigay muna ng conclusion. Pag nag-iimbestiga, kaya mo munang matapos yung findings mo, saka ka gumawa ng rekomendasyon.
So, was politics behind this, sir?
I don't know. You ask them. They're the ones involved.
Do you believe in his innocence?
Who?
General
I believe in the
Oscar
constitutional
Albayalde.
presumption of innocence. Unless you can show to me proof to the contrary, he remains to me innocent of any charge.
So, sir, what kind of information can we get possibly from you, sir, in the next couple of hours? Kasi have you spoken to the president about this? Not yet.
Not yet. Kung magkita kami mamaya, I will ask him.
Okay, because also what's important is, ang sinabi po ata, General Garcia will be the officer in charge, according to Secretary
Kasi siya
Anyo.
ang deputy ata, di ba?
So, how important is it, Secretary, to have to name the next PNP chief as soon as possible?
And that's the call of the president.
But is it important na pangalanan ka agad?
Again, that's the call of the president. I cannot be preempting the discretion of the president.
Well,
When and how and who. to
Yeah.
name.
But what about the qualities, sir, you think?
Di ba si presidente naman, pag nag-appoint silang hinihingi niya, you're honest and you're competent. Dalawa lang palagi niya sinasabi.
Doon sa tatlong lumalabas na pangalan, sir, meron ho ba kayong naririnig na meron na siyang
Sa totoo lang wala.
gusto?
Kasi alam mo si presidente, he keeps it to himself eh. Never ko narinig yan na ito i-appoint. Sa 3 taon ng presidente siya, walang nakakaalam. Bigla niya na lang ina-announce.
So siya, Si Senator Bongo at si Executive Secretary
Kahit
Medial
Senator
de
Bongo,
mauuna
kahit
siguro.
Senator Bongo, hindi rin alam. Malalaman na lang pag sinabi niya na. I-announce niya na yan. Sabi sa akin, Sal, i-announce mo na yan.
So we're just gonna have to wait for that.
Yeah, we have to wait.
We'll be taking another short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo's secretary. So it took you 3.5 hours last Friday doing that commute challenge. How would you describe your commute?
Unang-una, it's not true na galing ako sa bahay at dumating ako after 3 or 4 hours. Ang katotohanan niyan, kung galing ako mismo sa pinanggalingan ko, it will take me only 15 minutes.
Sabi mo 20 minutes?
15 to 20.
Okay.
Malapit.
Because-
Lalo pa kung alas 5 ng umaga.
So let's put that into context, Secretary, because what you're talking about is New Manila to Malacanang. But what you did, you took a long
Yeah, you
route.
know why? Kasi nga, the challenge is, kailangan pakita mo na kaya mo suffer ng pareho ng suffering. Una-una sabi ko nga, hindi mo nang kailangan kasi, alam mo, kahit nakasakay ka sa kotse, you will see them lining up, kikipagbunuan sa pagsakay. So alam mo talaga ang suffering. Kaya ko lang tinanggap kasi parang pinalalabas nila na itong mga nandyan sa gobyerno ngayon, hindi nila kayang gawin to. Kaya nahamon namin sila. Nagkamali sila ng hinamon. You know, I grew up in riding buses, jeepneys, and tricycles. Lahat kami sa cabinet. Kahit na si Secretary Jokno ng UP Days. Akala ko nga si Secretary Dominguez, hindi. Sabi niya, hindi. Nagbubus din ako. Si Teddy Boy Locsin lang yata ang hindi.
Kasi galing sa...
Kaya sanay kami.
Hey, sir, but let me put this into context. Noong mga panahon na yon, hindi naman siguro matindi. Hindi kasing tindi ng traffic ngayon.
Mali ka doon.
Ganun ba?
Palibasa, hindi ka sumasakay.
Sumakay naman, nag-commute naman ako nung high school
Pero
din.
alam mo kami ni Dr. Panelo, no, from Unilab, talagang nagkikipagbunuan din kami sa pagsakay. Mahirap talagang sumakay noon.
Yeah, but was the traffic...
Ngayon, mas aggravated kasi nga, mas maraming tao, mas kokonti ang sasakyan. Kaya, mas matagal ang antay mo.
So, the point is, ang ginawa niyo ho, umikot pa kayo mula New Manila, parang pumunta
Cubao.
kayo
Cubao
Cubao.
muna. Baba ako sa Cubao. Sakay na naman ako Marikina. Pagdating ko sa Concepcion, baba. Tapos katakot-takot na yung mga tawag. Tapos may mga pulis nga, nung makilala ako, pinapara nila yung mga jeep para sumakay ako. Kasi puno eh. Pero hindi ako pumayag. Kasi marami akong kasabay. Sabi ko, paunahin mo na lahat yan. So, mga 4-5 beses bago ako sumakay.
So let's say, sir, that you were to take that route, that particular route that you took, maybe mag-umpisa po sa Marikina,
Kung Marikina siguro, mga 1 hour.
or
1 hour siguro. Kung ganong oras, ha?
because you left at 5:15.
Kung ganong oras, baka less than 1 hour nasa opisina ka.
So you're saying, sir, that again, because of that challenge that you did, you're still not calling it a transport crisis.
Traffic crisis meron tayo. Kasi pag sa aking pag sinabi mong transport crisis, paralysis na yun, wala kang masasakyan. Sabi nga ni Teddy Boy Locsin, the fuck alone, naka-4 pa sa jeep pero lahat na nakasakay siya. Ibig sabihin, meron pa rin sasakyan. But, I concede, matagal ko na nga sinasabi, may problema tayo talaga dyan. You know why? Gaya sabi ni Engineer Palaco, kasi I don't know if you've heard him say it. We're 30 years behind sa infrastructure. Talagang magkakaganyan tayo. Kung pinakinggan siya noon pa, wala tayong ganyan.
Because he says we do not have urban planning. Wala
Hindi lang
kasi
yun,
din
meron nga
tayong
siyang,
infrastructure.
may proposal siya. Ang problema daw, sangayon sa kanya, yung panahon ni Marcos, nung dumating ang Cory, hindi tinuloy yung mga plano ni Marcos sa infrastructure. Si GMA din may plano, nung dumating naman si Pinoy, hindi rin tinuloy. Kaya eto tayo ngayon.
So, kailan ho siya magiging... When will you consider it a transportation crisis?
Pag paralyzed na pag wala na tayong masakyan.
Nang ilang oras, sir?
Nung ilang oras, biro mo, can you imagine kung wala na tayong masakyan?
Yeah, but you need to quantify that, sir. Pag wala tayong masakyan ng 2 oras, would you call that a transportation crisis?
May problema ka na talaga. May paralysis eh. Kung wala ka na talaga masakyan. Like for instance, alam mo kaya ako may napagalitan na isang komentarista. Sabi niya, ininsulto ko rin yung tao dahil sinabi ko,
You need to be...
maggumising kayo na maaga.
Wake up earlier.
That was not an offensive statement. Pinupuri ko nga ang taong bayan doon. Lahat tayo kasi, kagaya ko, dati alas 7 ako nagigising, ngayon hindi na pwede, alas 5. Para makarating ka. But you should credit that for the creativity ng mga Pilipino. Pag may hostile environment, gumagawa tayo ng paraan. Ay, may bagyo. Di ba? Galing natin dyan eh. Pero hindi yun offensive or insulto.
I want to get your reaction on this, sir. You know, because of the desperation of some of the commuters, makapasok po ng
Sa
bus.
bintana na.
Sa bintana na po sila pumapasok. Ganyan po ang
Kasi nga,
kalbaryo.
You know why? Kasi kung doon ka daraan sa pinto, may kalaban ka doon. May
Mauunahan ka.
Mauunahan ka.
Yeah.
Kaya pagalingan na nga eh.
Yan ba ho, creative ba yan?
Creative yan.
But that's dangerous.
Yes, but creativity pa rin yan.
True. Some are asking what is the difference between a traffic crisis and a transportation crisis, sir?
Hindi, pag sinabi mo transportation crisis, I'm referring na doon sa paralysis. Wala ka ng masakyan. Wala kang masakyan ng train, wala kang masakyan ng taxi, wala kang masakyan ng jeep. Kumbaga, parang nag-nationwide strike, may paralysis. Pero kung hirap na hirap tayo, traffic crisis pa rin doon.
Because of that challenge, sir, there's a lot of, pinuri naman kayo doon sa ginawa ninyo. Marami rin pong nag-insulto.
Basta anti-Duterte, siyempre palagi ng kontra sa'yo.
So ang sabi po nila, hindi sapat ang isang araw na mag-commute ka. Why not do it for 1 week? Or maybe 1 month, sir?
Nung tinanggap ko yan, di ba, I declined coverage. Yung mga MPC, 1 oras na kalahati na doon sa opisina ko nakikiusap, hindi ko pinagbigyan, walang coverage. Kasi, you will be making a spectacle out of that. Publicity ang mangyayaring, kasi ang gustong nung mga humahamon, magkita rin kami sa Cubao, ganito, sasakay. In other words, in-announce mo na, o di nandun lahat yan. Kaya hindi pa pwede ka, even my own family didn't know. Hindi ko sinabi kay Dr. Panelo kung saan ako pupunta. Para nga wala. Saka nagsombrero nga ako at nag-shades, para nga hindi ako makikilala ng madali. Kasama lahat yun eh.
Pero kitang-kita ho kayo, okay?
Hindi, ako nagpadala nun eh. Kasi yun ang
No,
pangako
I
ko
know.
sa
I saw your
MPC.
selfies,
Sabi kasi
yes.
ng MPC, magpadala na. Pangako, sabi ko, papadala ko kayo. Para lang, yun.
Naka-white cap ka.
You remember nung naabutan nila ako sa Cubao?
Yeah.
Kasi, sangayon sa kanila, may mga nag-tweet, nag-post,
Netizens.
kinukunan ako.
Yeah.
Kinukunan ako, nandito kami sa ganyan. Kaya nasyak ako na, biglang nandun sila lahat. And ayoko nang bumaba. Kasi mag-LRT ako sa Hemadi.
Sa New Manila.
Ayoko nga dahil spectacle eh. Kaya sabi nung jeepney driver, Sir, sa Mindiola naman ako doon na lang kayo. Mabuti pa.
Kaya dumiretso ka
Kaya
ng
dumiretso na
Mindiola.
lang ako.
I see.
O pagdating ko naman sa Mindiola, ang problema, sumakay ako sa tricycle. Hindi sumakay ako. Sabi, Sir, sira eh. Naloko na. Hindi punta ako doon sa kabila. Sir, may sakay ako eh. Patay kang bata ka eh. Pero meanwhile, siyempre, creating a scene already. Spectacle na nga, nandun lahat ang media eh. So sabi ko, ano kayong gagawin ko rito? Tapos sabi, may nagsuggest sa likuran ko, Sir, may motorsiklo, pwede kayo sumakay dyan. Tapos nag-offer yung isa.
Yeah.
Sabi niya, Sir, di sumakay ako. Kaya sabi nung isa, Sir, wala kayong helmet. Patay, issue na naman to. Di bumaba ako. Tama-tama, may dumaraan si Ronald Rosales daw siya from City Hall. Panggabi raw siya, nadaan siya, na-call yung attention. Bumaba siya. Tapos, nung narinig niya, nag-offer siya.
Yun.
Sir, sabi niya, may helmet ako.
Yun na. Enhance yan na po yun.
May helmet ako, sir. Ihatid
Pero
ko na kayo.
swerte ka dahil may mabuting loob.
Hindi, kung wala, kasi gusto ko maglakad na sana. Kaya lang ayoko nga na spectacle na sinusundan ka ng buong media.
Tinatakasan mo yung
exactly,
media.
kaya
Sir,
tinatakasan
there's a bill that Congressman Frederick Sia wants to file. It's called the Public Servants Commuting via Public Transport Act. Ang ibig gusto ho niya, government officials to commute every Monday. What do you
Walang
think?
problema sa akin.
Would you support this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Walang problema sa akin.
Every Monday.
Oo, okay lang sa akin.
But hindi ho niya, it wasn't a challenge just to you. Sabi niya, dalawa ho kasi ang pwedeng kalabasan ito. Madidecongest ang traffic tuwing Monday. And the second is to
Okay lang
remind
yan.
government officials of the burden that the commuters are facing
Okay lang
every
sa
day.
akin yun, kahit anong gawin nila.
So that's fine with you. Are you planning to do it again?
Without media knowing it.
You are planning to do it again.
Without media knowing it.
I know. So yes, sir.
Biglang makikita mo na lang.
Biglahan na lang magsa-selfie ulit. But naramdaman ho ninyo yung hirap ng commuters?
Pinky, yung hirap ngayon, pareho rin yung hirap namin noon. Wala naman na bago eh. Talagang mahirap sumakay noon. Nung panahon namin, talagang nakikipagbundo ka rin. Maraming kikipag-unahan.
What you're saying, sir, is wala hong difference yung noon. Kailan ho yung noon? What year?
Yung UP days,
Which
30 years ago.
So you're saying 30 years ago,
Ay, dati na may problema dyan sa ano, kasi nga, kulang ang sasakyan.
so 30 years ago and today, pareho lang po ang krisis na kinakaharap ng mga nagko-commute.
Hindi ba yun ang sinasabi ng ano? Mas matindi ngayon nga kasi nadagdagan yung volume ng sasakyan. Marami rin mga pasaway sa kalye. Marami nagbubungkal ng kalsada. Wala tayong mga skyway. Noon, hindi masyado kasi nga, konti pa ang tao, konti pa rin ang...
All right. So again, the Secretary plans to do the plans to commute. Let's not call it the challenge anymore. Plans to commute secretly without telling the media. We're going to watch out for that. Maraming salamat kay Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo. Sir, good to see
Thank you.
Maraming
Always a
salamat.
pleasure.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.